I'll get it.
Good morning, Holly.
Morning.
Oh, Robert, I just took a chance on finding you at home.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
I'll get right to the point. What was yesterday a routine legal procedure is today a police matter. It's Dr. Gerald's will. Well, Robert, I'm sure you can understand why I can't let you examine Hector Gerald's will for yourself. It's a privileged instrument until I've held a formal reading.
Unless I get a court order allowing you to disclose the contents.
Yes. And now that suicide has been alleged, well, that brings in the police and the coroner. You can get a court order right away, can't you?
In the works.
Well, then I guess I can risk giving you the general nature of the will. There is no large estate involved. His legacy is mainly his scientific work. He named Grant Putnam as his executor, and all papers are to be turned over to Grant. Grant has been informed of that.
Where are the papers now?
Well, I asked him that when he came in to execute the will, and he said they were in his laboratory, and there's some of them in a vault and some at his home.
Lee, you realize the government are going to want to examine those papers with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, yes, I assume that. And of course, as soon as I've received proper authorization, I'll order them turned over. Oh, and there was another provision. He's left some money to the future children of Grant and Celia, and he named Grant and Celia as the trustees.
I'm still so shocked that he committed suicide. When he came to see you about his will, did he seem depressed?
Suicide's only been alleged, love. However, your question's appropriate. Did he seem depressed?
Well, I thought he seemed harassed, you know, like a man under great pressure. But now with his death coming so soon after he executed his will, I was wondering if it was something else.
What?
Well, he was in such a hurry to get it down on paper, you know, get it signed. And at the time, I just figured that's the attitude of a man who's extremely busy. But now I'm not so sure.
Not sure of what?
Well, I mean, isn't it obvious a man who's in such a great hurry to execute his final testament? I mean, he must have a reason. Couldn't he have been contemplating suicide? I'll be standing by, Robert. See you soon, Holly.
Give our best together.
I'll do that. Bye.
Now what?
The tea's still hot. Would you like a cup?
Sounds good, love. Let me take care of this first. Good morning, Dr. Bowman.
I have a preliminary report on my examination of Hector Gerald, Commissioner. I
Good.
assumed you wanted my autopsy done as soon as possible.
Correct. What can you confirm?
Something surprising, Commissioner. There were 2 bullets in the body.
Well, I guess that rules out suicide.
Not necessarily. It could be what we call the reflex action. The first shot could have induced a spasm reflex, resulting in involuntary firing of the second shot by Gerald.
I see.
It's rare, but it does happen.
What's the time of death?
I can't be precise, Commissioner, because too much time elapsed between death and discovery of the body.
Well, give me your best estimate.
Between 1 and 4 o'clock.
What about the weapon?
Captain Ramsey's ordered lab tests on the gun, but from the slugs, I'd say it was small bore, probably 25 caliber.
Let's go back to the slugs you found, Doctor.
2 in almost the same position in the heart.
Yet you still won't rule out suicide.
Not with certainty. The spasm reflex is well recorded in forensic medicine. Thus, the autopsy doesn't prove suicide, neither does it eliminate it as the cause of death.
I see. Well, thank you, Doctor, and thank you for the quick work. If I need to, I'll get back to you.
Mr. Valentine is here, Robert. With 2 other men. I'm sure you'll want your privacy, so I'll make myself scarce.
Thanks a lot.
Agents Potter and Harmon. Commissioner Robert Scorpio, formerly of the WSB.
I need to guess why you're here.
Time, as they say, is of the essence, Robert.
Isn't it always? Shall we? Your microdot.
And the pencil. Very good. Harmon? Now, you should be arriving in Washington by 2 o'clock. When you arrive, you take this microdot directly to our alternate depository. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Well, I see no reason to waste time.
I knocked, but I guess you didn't hear me.
No, that's all right, Robert. Come on in. Have a seat. What can I do for you?
Well, I need to ask you some questions about Dr. Gerald's death. You being closest to him and all, I figured that maybe you could shed some light on the circumstances regarding that death.
I seriously doubt that I can, but I'll be happy to tell you anything I know. Right off the top, I can tell you he never discussed suicide with me.
Okay, let's go back to that area. Before that, though, can you give me your whereabouts at the time of his death?
How can I do that?
Pardon?
I don't know when he died.
Oh, I'm sorry. The coroner estimates between 1 and 4.
1 and 4. Let me think. Well, I was at home with Celia until after 1.
Mm-hmm. After that?
Yeah, I'd say I was there 20, 30 minutes past 1. Then I left to come here to the hospital.
So I guess you would have reached here around about 2 o'clock?
Ordinarily I would have, but my car broke down on the way.
Did you get it started?
No, I'm not much of a mechanic.
Mm-hmm. What'd you do, call a tow truck or what o'clock, what?
No, I was just about to do so, and Natalie happened along. She saw me stopped, and she pulled over to see what the problem was.
Go on.
Well, we tried for another 10 minutes or so to get it started, and that's when she hurt her hand.
How did she do that?
She slammed it in the car door. I could see at that point that there was only one thing to do, so I drove her to the hospital in her car.
Was, she badly hurt?
Badly enough that I knew it required immediate attention.
Mm-hmm. Which you, of course, provided.
Yes. As soon as we got here, I took her right into the therapy room.
Well, how was she?
Well, I had to put it in a cast for her, but she'll be all right.
Tell me, is it sort of common for people to go around slamming their hands in car doors?
It happens. As an orthopedist, I've learned that almost anything can happen.
Yeah, that rule sort of applies in my line of work, too. One more point here. You said that Gerald never mentioned suicide.
Never.
And you knew him quite well. I mean, wouldn't you say that you were attuned to his moods?
As you just said, I knew him well.
He never actually came right out and mentioned suicide? I mean, did you have any reason to believe that he might have been contemplating it?
None, Robert. That's why this suicide is all the more shocking.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't depressed?
No. He was overworked, he was harried, but depressed, no.
He was pretty, well, he was more or less alone in the world. Do you think that this bothered him?
Robert, I know for a fact that it didn't.
Why do you say that?
Because your assumption is erroneous. He was not alone in the world.
He wasn't?
No, he wasn't. He had his work, and when he could find time, he had friends.
Friends such as you?
I was proud to have been his friend.
You should have been. He was a fine man.
Yes, he was.
Well, I'm not going to bother you anymore. Thanks for your time and cooperation. Once again, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, Robert.
Commissioner, I'm eager to be helpful, but I just can't for the life of me think why you would want to question me about Professor Gerald's death. I hardly knew the man.
Yeah, I realize that. The questions at this point are largely routine. We set out to establish as many points and facts as possible. Even though some of them turn out to be irrelevant, then we try to piece it together.
To what purpose?
Purpose of any inquiry, which is to get at the truth. Now, can you give me your whereabouts, the time we found the body?
Well, I have no idea when he died.
The medical examiner said between 1 and 4.
1 and 4, let me just think.
Take your time.
Oh, no, 1 and 4. That was exactly when I injured my hand.
When you helped Dr. Putnam?
Oh, well, from that comment, then I assume you've already spoken with Dr. Putnam.
Yeah, well, the same way that I'm talking to you, the same way that I will talk to a great many more people before this is over.
Well, then I'm sure he must have told you that when I was driving along in my car, I saw him stranded by the side of the street, and so I got out to see what the trouble was.
He did. Can you tell me where you were going and coming from?
Yes, I was on my way to administer therapy to an outpatient.
But you never got there because of your hand?
That's correct.
I see. Tell me, when you helped Dr. Putnam, did you manage to get his car started?
No, I'm sure he must have told you we weren't able to do that. I mean, we tried, but we were not able to get it started at all, so we just left his car there and then came back here in mine.
Mm-hmm. How'd you hurt your hand?
Oh, that was the silliest thing. I have this really bad habit of always closing my door with my hand on top of the door instead of down on the handle, and I must have been very absent-minded that day or something, and it just slammed shut right on my hand.
Must have hurt.
Oh, believe me, it did.
Do you recall the names of the patients you saw before you left the hospital?
Oh, well, there's no need to recall. I keep a list of all my appointments in my appointment book.
Can I see that?
Oh, by all means.
It says here that you saw Luke Spencer.
Yes, Luke came in that morning.
Routine therapy?
No. He had injured himself during a campaign speech and just came in to have me check out the injury.
Serious injury?
No. Luke is very resilient.
Yes, I know. Well, listen, I won't take up any more of your time.
No, I'm eager to be helpful. It's just that I really didn't know very much about Professor Gerald, I'm afraid.
Nobody did. At least that's the assumption at the moment. Well, listen, thank you very much for your assistance, and look after that hand.
Oh, well, you're welcome, and I thank you. I hope it will be better. Thank you.
What is this, another raid, or you got the troops out here, or what?
No, I'm just here to ask you a few questions about your leg.
Why?
It's part of my investigation regarding Hector Gerald's death.
You think my leg killed him? I thought it was suicide.
Yeah, well, so it seems. At the time that we found the body, you were at the hospital visiting Natalie, I believe.
Yes, I had an appointment with her to check on a small injury.
And did she?
Yeah, she did. It was nothing.
It's my understanding that she treated the injury, then had an appointment and left, and that you waited around for her to come back.
So?
Well, so maybe the injury wasn't that minor. Otherwise, why would you wait all that time?
Well, actually, we never resumed the treatment because she injured her hand.
I know. But still, you waited at the hospital, expecting more treatment.
Mr. Commissioner, I don't find that unusual. I mean, I do have family working at the hospital, my sister, my aunt.
How long does a therapy session with Natalie generally last?
Robert, what is this about?
How long?
Half hour.
But this was a new injury. It must have required more time.
I told you it was nothing.
Well, I'm afraid that neither are your answers. Unless, of course, you're covering for Natalie. I mean, being a friend of yours and all.
Covering what?
You tell me.
No, you tell me. You know me well enough to know that I do cover for my friends. I always have. I always will. But,
What?
Well, these days, Robert, it's very difficult to know who your friends are. Don't you find that?
There'll be no more questions just at the moment.
Celia, I had to drop by to tell you how sorry I am about Gerald. You and Grant must be stunned.
It was a shock, yes, especially for Grant.
I can imagine.
He doesn't say very much, but I know exactly what he's thinking. He thinks that if he had been with Dr. Gerald, it wouldn't have taken it so much.
Well, I understand why he would think that.
The worst part of it, Holly, is that it's probably true. If Grant's security clearance had come through, he probably would have been with him.
Well, Robert mentioned that his clearance had been delayed, but apparently it has something to do with Bunny Willis.
Bunny, what happened with him?
He can't be found.
What?
It's my understanding that Bunny Willis has disappeared off the face of the earth.
Agent Harmon has the microdot in his possession. Agent Potter is covering him. ETA in Washington, $1,400. This is 1-A, over and out. Ah, Robert. Wife had to go out. She was kind enough to let me use your office.
What's the news on Willis?
Negative, nothing.
No forwarding address, no telephone numbers?
Nothing.
Well, what about San Francisco, his friends, his colleagues?
I've covered all those avenues, and the result is still negative.
People just don't disappear. I'm going to start backtracking on Grant Putnam.
Good, yes, do that. Look, I've got to be back in my Washington office by 5.
Okay.
If you turn up anything, could you call me?
Will do.
All right, thanks.
Proceed with inquiry. Right. Who has made inquiries for Grant Putnam in the last 30 days? Last 2 inquiries made by Robert Scorpio? Crazy. Not by me, they weren't. Answer verified. Last 2 inquiries read Putnam made by Robert Scorpio. It's impossible. Inquiry made 4 weeks ago on August 17th, 83. Something wrong here. Reply verified. Inquiry was made by Robert Scorpio and properly covered. Scorpio.
Robert,
Yes, Connie, what is it?
I've been giving it a lot of thought. I'm more convinced than ever that you were right. You know, I think it's a good thing that the disc didn't turn up. Because if it did, it would have been turned over to a mold at the WSB headquarters, and by now it'd be in the hands of the DVX. But for the life of me, I can't figure out why the mole here in Port Charles hasn't tried to deliver it someplace.
Freshen that up, eh?
Thank you.
Anything interesting?
Pardon?
On the screen, you look stumped.
It's the perfect word for it.
What's wrong?
Well, I was doing a bit of backtracking, just routine business, and I asked the computer to give me a readout on all the inquiries regarding Grant Putnam, expecting, of course, there to be only one, which was my initial inquiry. Imagine my surprise to learn that someone else is after his fingerprints.
Oh?
I don't get it. You know, I've double-checked now 4 times, and each time it just says that someone else has requested it. Now, when I ask for an identity, it coughs out me. Now, look, I don't know whether I'm going crazy or not, but it certainly wasn't me.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, well, how would you know?
It wasn't you, it was me.
You?
Yes, that's right. I wasn't trying to deceive you in any way. It was just a favor for a friend. I couldn't really refuse.
Look, I'm not mad at you. I just want to know why Celia was so curious about the fingerprints.
She said it was a mistake, that she must have picked up the wrong glass, one that Grant had been using.
So you're saying that she really was surprised when she learned the results?
Oh, yes, I'm positive. She was expecting somebody else's.
Whose?
She wouldn't say, but I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy Lee. She said it was someone in her art class.
You should have told me about this, you know.
I know, but it seemed so embarrassing to Celia. She really begged me not to tell you. And besides, the whole thing's over and done with now. She's really devoted to Grant.
Look, I'm not about to mention it, but I don't like you using my machines without permission, especially for something this frivolous.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I should have talked to you about it. I guess it's just hard to keep the sleuth in me under control.
Well, don't worry. I've forgiven you. Especially as you've given me such an interesting piece of information.
Really? Why?
You're the sleuth? You tell me.
You don't think it was a mistake that Grant's fingerprints were on that glass?
When it comes to Grand Putnam, I don't know what to think anymore. Scorpio.
Robert, it's Lee Baldwin. I'm at the bank office. And we've just completed all the legalities, so Gerald's bank deposit box can be opened at any time.
Wait there. I'll go pick up Grant and we'll hurry right over.
I'll be waiting.
Give me 20 minutes.
I'll take this to mean that you're going out.
Yeah, listen, I could be quite a while, so I'll have to meet you at the funeral.
Does this have something to do with Grant?
Everything to do with Grant.
Hello, Robert.
I'm not interrupting.
Commissioner.
Gregory?
I've been treating Gregory's hand.
Believe it or not, I get the worst cramps after I've been playing for too long.
You should get Luke to give you a day off every year or two.
Fat chance of that.
Look, I can wait outside.
No, we had just finished.
Yeah, it's soak it twice a day, right?
More if you feel it's necessary.
Thank you very much, Doc. Commissioner?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet.
Interesting profession, piano player.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd find it a little bit boring.
Depends on where you work.
Robert, I assume you'll be going to the funeral this afternoon.
Yeah, but first we have some business to take care of.
We?
Lee Baldwin's at the bank. With all this legal business now out of the way, Dr. Gerald's safety deposit box can be opened, and you, of course, as the sole heir, have a right to the contents.
When would you like this event to take place?
He's at the bank now.
All right. Fine. Let me just collect my things.
Our master key will open it.
And we'll give you the honor, Grant.
I'm afraid first he'll have to sign this form.
Oh, of course.
I suppose you'll want a little privacy, huh?
I'll be in the outer office. Just signal me when you're through.
I'm sorry, Grant. I'm going to have to stay with you to examine the contents.
I understand, Robert.
Well, you let me know how it goes, Robert. I'll be right outside.
Yeah. Your honors, Doctor.
Yes, of course.
Savings bonds.
Stock certificates.
Roughly about 200 shares. Nothing particularly significant here. The Southwest Real Estate Development Corporation. Never heard of it.
This is interesting.
What?
It's a letter addressed to me. Robert, is it all right if I open it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to read it with you, though, regardless of how personal it might be.
My dear friend, Grant. My most trusted colleague. What can I say about the last few months except
except thank you. You and Celia have brought meaning to my life again. Before, I felt myself merely existing in this world of ours. Now my life has direction. I'm sorry, Robert.
What's up?
Please finish it for me.
Now my life has direction and purpose. I've said it to you before, and I'll repeat it again. You're like a son I never had. I know I can never replace your own father, and I would never try. But when you feel the need to talk, to seek counsel, or just someone to sit with, I'll be here for you. The same for Celia, your lovely wife. Her beauty, her freshness, her optimistic attitude is so refreshing to a man who had come so close to giving up on happiness. Before I met the two of you, happiness was just an elusive emotion from my distant past. You've helped me recapture it now. For that, I thank you. For that, I will always be grateful. You've given me hope. And soon, you will be blessing the world with the gift of your children. I look forward to welcoming them and watching them grow. Hardly sounds like the words of a man contemplating suicide, does it?
I know. Don't say it. I should have called. I'm sorry.
Where have you been?
Oh, look, I'm sorry. That was my fault. I dragged Grant over to the bank to open up Gerald's safety deposit box.
Oh, we should have known.
Yes, well, we're here now. I see that everyone else has arrived.
It's all that's coming.
Yes.
Darling.
I'm all right, Celia.
We should be beginning in a moment.
Yep.
Shall we sit down?
Fine.
My condolences, Grant.
Thank you, Natalie.
Suppose you're very sick with the Scorpios?
It's a brilliant observation.
Be very careful what you say.
Excuse me, Natalie.
We are gathered here in the sight of the Lord to pay our last respects to Professor Hector Gerald.
Quitting so soon? It's not even dawn yet.
You look at this thing long enough, you start to see cartoons.
I was looking out the bedroom window and I saw Cornelius, so I figured it'd be all right to come down.
You needn't have wasted your time, because I'm coming up.
Robert.
Yeah?
I want to know.
What?
Can't you tell me what's happening?
I wish I had something to tell you.
It's going to be all right, you know.
I hope so.
Red alert. Alien in the office.
What?
Turn off your secrets. Enemy lurking with lunch tray.
Lunch?
Oh, I do love it when you speak in monosyllables.
Sorry.
Ah, 2 syllables. Much better.
Lunch already?
Yes. Actually, it was time for lunch about an hour ago, but I figured I'd get your attention better if I waited until you were ravenous.
Just put it over there, love.
Oh, no, you don't. Last time I did that, you didn't even touch it.
I did too.
Oh, no, you didn't. I came back 4 hours later. The lettuce was wilted and the bread was all dried up.
Well, I just don't have much of an appetite when I'm working.
Yeah, so I noticed. Is this the save button?
Yeah,
Okay, all one has to do is touch this little button and it puts all your work on hold until you get back.
that's right.
Saved. Hey! And just to make extra sure.
I can't operate the computer without that.
I know.
Give it back.
Uh-uh.
All right, Holly. What are you up to?
Oh, how's that?
Assisting an officer.
Impossible. You're irresistible.
All right. Okay. That's it. You win.
I knew I would.
Got it.
Police brutality.
No witnesses.
Oh, everybody gets a half after lunch.
I should hire you as an interrogating Nana.
Oh, you think I'm suited for it?
Oh, very soon. One look at you and the most hardened criminal would simply give in.
Do you give in?
Only under duress. I think I'm under it.
Well, I think we can do something about that.
Hmm? What?
Well, it's a foolproof method used since time immemorial.
Tell me about it.
Only after some intense questioning would you catch it. Step into my interrogation room.
Happily. Now, I'm ready.
We'll fix that, too. Anything to please.
So I noticed.
There's a sinking feeling that that's business.
Well, the world had to intrude sooner or later.
Personally, I'd prefer later.
I wonder who's about to screw up our connubial bliss this time.
Oh, I'm interrupting.
Never gave you that idea.
Oh, it's the little things. Bathrobes in the middle of the day, flushed look on the cheeks, a satisfied smile.
I'll leave you to it.
Oh, don't leave on my account.
I was just getting ready to dress.
I see.
I have to get dressed. There's coffee in the kitchen if you want it.
You can wipe that leer off your face right now.
Don't be embarrassed, Robbie. I won't tell anyone that you're making love on the taxpayer's nickel.
Everybody's entitled to half an hour's lunch.
Yeah, it's a good thing you work at home. Can't get that kind of service at the corner deli.
And to what do I owe this obnoxious intrusion?
Business. What else?
Better be important.
It is. It involves Luke.
And the disc?
Possibly.
Oh, really? I mean, we've been suspicious of him for some time now.
Yeah, well, Luke has a few suspicions of his own. Let's start with one Natalie Dearborn.
Therapist? Thought he trusted her.
Luke's not trusting anybody right now. As a matter of fact, something got him thinking, so I offered to check Natalie out on the computer.
What'd you find?
Well, it turns out that the story she told Luke about her personal life isn't quite jiving with what's in her file.
Which was?
Well, she told him that her fiancé died in the Vietnam War, so they never got married. When the truth is they did, and he's very much alive and living in New York City.
A lot of people lie about their past.
True. Why lie to Luke? Come on, he's supposed to be your best friend.
And not too crazy about people that lie to him.
No. He has a tendency to get very angry and incredibly suspicious.
Yeah, from past experience, his instincts tend to be quite accurate.
Eerily accurate from what I've seen.
I still don't understand. What's the connection between Natalie not telling him about her marriage and her supposed interest in the disc?
Good question.
There's got to be a connection. Luke's been dropping hints about the disc for some time. Natalie is close to Luke.
Natalie's also close to Grant.
Grant was close to Gerald.
Coincidence?
You want to leave it at that?
No way.
Neither do I. Okay. Let's go over this remarkable coincidence. Take it a step further. Grant came to Port Charles. Luke got here sometime after. Then Natalie turned up shortly after that. That's coincidence. But there's something nagging here.
What?
Well, I can understand Luke sticking it to me from time to time. He'd never do it to the government.
Oh, come on, he isn't. Otherwise, why would he be so suspicious of Natalie?
True.
As a matter of fact, Luke and I are going to New York later to check up on Natalie's ex.
I have a nagging suspicion this is all connected in some way to Gerald and the mysterious missing disc.
I'm sorry I didn't call first.
Oh, you didn't have to.
Good. Well, two things. First, here's the blouse you lent me so long ago.
I'd forgotten you even had it. What's the second thing?
Grant and I have tickets to see Leanna Oliver tonight in Macbeth, and we'd like you and Robert to go with us.
Oh, I've been dying to see that. I love Leanna Oliver. How on earth did you get the tickets?
Well, one of Grant's patients gave him 4 tickets as a thank you.
Ah, nice perks those doctors get. I'd love to go.
Well, thought I heard voices. I said it.
Oh, Robert. Wonderful news, Robert. Remember I was trying to get tickets for the Royal Shakespeare production?
Couldn't get them, as I recall.
Well, we've got them now for tonight's performance, as a matter of fact.
And I thought we'd all go to dinner first.
I'm sorry, but I won't be able to make it.
Oh, Robert, I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Well, I'm sure I would too, but the work comes first, and I'm up to hearing it.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Well, that doesn't stop you two from going.
Yes, but I'd rather you came with us.
Yes, we would too. Grant would be so disappointed.
Grant?
Yeah, he was so thrilled when he got the tickets.
Grant got the tickets?
Yes, he did, and he insisted that you two come with us.
Well, I see. Well, I guess I can't disappoint him in view of he's gone to all this trouble.
Great. Does that mean you'll be coming?
I can't think of a better reason to put off work.
That's wonderful. Grant will be thrilled.
Well, why don't we meet for dinner at the Floating Rib before the theater?
Good, good. I'll just call Grant and have him meet us there then.
Wasn't it thoughtful of Grant to think of us like that?
Very thoughtful.
I'm off to the grocery store.
Well, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
I'll be back soon.
Look, I've got 5 minutes, otherwise I'm going to miss my plane.
Okay, let's get to it.
All right, what is so urgent?
I have a seat. Can you get back from New York by 8:30?
Probably.
Not much time.
What is it that you want?
Holly and I are going out to dinner tonight with the Putnams. And after that, we're going on to the theater.
You want me to water your plants?
No, I want you to watch my house. Call it a reflex action, but I think somebody wants me out of this place rather badly tonight.
To search for the microfilm.
And I intend to comply with their wishes. However, I want to catch them red-handed. I will organize some backup for you later on.
No, I handle this myself.
Too risky.
Look, I do not want any of your amateurs mucking this up.
And I don't want you in this alone if there's more than one person involved.
That's not likely.
But it's possible. Now, look. We've got one chance here. I want the deck totally stacked in our favor.
All right. But you keep them out of sight and far away from the house.
Okay, that's a deal. I'll have them stationed in the park with binoculars so they can observe all the entrances. If there's going to be more than one person, we'll organize it.
Otherwise, I handle this alone.
No heroic.
That's what I'm saying.
So you keep telling me. But remember, you're in this alone.
That's just the way I like it.
Oh, here they are now. Good.
Oh, so sorry, William.
Oh, we were getting worried.
Go look at me this time.
I spilled wine all over my dress after the changed at the last minute.
Well, don't worry about it. You're here now. That's all that counts. I can go there for a while, huh?
I couldn't decide which dress to change into.
Yes. Holly disappeared into her closet. I thought I was going to have to send the dog squad to get her out. Could have been there till New Year.
Now, tell me, Robert, wasn't it worth the wait?
Definitely.
Listen, if you two don't mind, I think our table is ready. Shall we?
Natalie, would you like to join us?
Oh, don't let me know. I have a full evening's work ahead of me, but you have a lovely time.
Well, now that we're all here, let it be evening and begin.
I couldn't believe it when I spilled wine on my dress. It had taken me hours to decide on that one.
Don't believe she had any purchase that one.
Doesn't mean that I had decided to wear it. I hate it when that happens. You're all set to wear one outfit, and something at the last minute happens, and you totally destroy the evening.
Women and their clothes.
Now, don't give me that. I've seen you take ages to pick out a tie.
Maybe 5 minutes?
That's the age when they're waiting. Right.
I feel surrounded by chauvinist.
Well, then it's easy for them to talk. They can wear the same jacket a few days in a row. No one even notices.
It's unfair, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I must confess, though, if it was me, I'd still be in the closet throwing things around trying to decide what to wear.
Oh, I threw clothes all right. They're all over the bedroom.
Yeah, and halfway down the hall.
Oh, it's not that bad, but it is pretty messy. Good thing we're not expecting company tonight.
Would you care to order now?
Yes, yes.
The special tonight is duck Laurent. However, it does take an extra 20 minutes. I love duck. I'll have that.
Oh, I'm not sure we have time.
I mean, of course we have time. We have plenty of time until the curtain. Now, I would suggest that we just relax and have a nice leisurely dinner.
All right. Why not? I'll have the duck.
Me too.
Robert.
And the veal.
Ever the non-conformist.
fellow that was here.
Are you all going to see it, too?
No, just I'm giving.
What are you going to see? Macbeth, the honor all of it. Oh, I think it's marvelous. Well, one of Grant's patients gave him 4 tickets. Can you believe it?
Well, that's what I'd call a very grateful patient. Who was it,
Yeah, it was a very grateful patient. Have any of you seen the play yet?
No, we've been dying to, but it's almost impossible to get tickets.
Yeah, and I've called in every favor I could think of.
You know, if you really want to get tickets, you should just call the box office a half hour before the show.
That's a good idea. There's almost always a last-minute cancellation.
Yes, it's a very good way to see a show when it's been sold out.
Fine idea. How do you all feel about tonight? Oh, I'd love to. What do you think, darling?
Well, if we can.
Well, grab us a table. I'll call the box office.
Oh, good. Great. Well, maybe we'll do it. Oh, there. Fingers crossed.
You know, you really were very fortunate to get the tickets.
I guess this is just your lucky day, darling.
You know, Robert, you really should have had the duck. It was delicious.
Maybe next time.
How about some dessert?
Judy, I think we're going to have to pass on that. We ought to leave for the theater now.
I'm so excited. I hear Leanna Oliver is just late for home.
You got tickets?
Wonderful. No trouble at all.
As a matter of fact, there were a lot of last-minute cancellations.
Oh, really nice.
Well, because Diana Oliver is ill, the understudy's playing the part.
Oh, you're joking.
I'm afraid not.
But we decided to go anyway. It isn't often we have a night at the theater.
Well, the play is the thing. I think it's Shakespeare once said that.
Yes, but I'm sure the rest of the company really would.
Yeah, well, we better get looking.
All right. Yes, we'll see you there.
Indeed.
Oh, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, and tonight of all nights, I was so looking forward to it.
Well, there's no reason why we still can't go, is there, Grant?
No, of course not. Gail just said that the company itself is very worth seeing.
Yes, but I've seen Macbeth. The whole point was to see Leanna Oliver as Lady Macbeth.
I agree. I think we should get arranged that.
No, I disagree.
No, I don't see why the box office can't just exchange our tickets for a night when the star will be playing.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we all go over to our house and drown our sorrows in brandy?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm sure a night at the Scorpio won't be quite as exciting as a night at the theater, but we'll do our best.
No, I really must insist that we go to the theater tonight.
What's the point, Grant? Leanna Oliver isn't even going to be in the play.
Really, a true theater person is more interested in the ensemble than that one single personality.
Yes, that's what all true theater people say, but everyone knows that's a bunch of hogwash. People like to see a star, including me. Me too.
Still, I just don't think it's right to back out now.
Why are you putting up such a fuss, Grant? Since when have you become such a great fan of the Royal Shakespeare Company?
I have been a fan for years. In fact, when I was a student in London, I used to go to the theater all the time.
The Royal is a very prestigious company.
Yes, it is. And I'm sure they'll be terrific even without their star actress.
I agree. However, they're probably even better with the star, so why wait?
There, you see? Polly agrees with me.
That may be. The fact still remains, if we don't go tonight, it is going to put me in a very embarrassing position.
Oh, why is that, Grant?
What if my patient calls tomorrow morning? Asks how we like the play. What am I going to do? What am I going to say? Now, I think we should make use of his generous gift.
You know, on second thoughts, Grant is right.
Oh,
I mean, we wouldn't want to put him in an embarrassing position, would we?
well, he could lie.
Why look a gift horse in the mouth? It was very kind of Grant to organize this evening for us, and I think that if he wants to go, that we should.
Thank you, Holly.
You've certainly changed gears suddenly.
Well, you might say that I suddenly got the feeling that Robert might get a kick out of it.
Thank you, darling. I'm sure we'll have a delightful time. After all, the play does have a proven track record.
Wonderful. All right, then. Let's go. I'll get the check. No, Robert, put that back. This one is mine.
You got the tickets, we get the dinner.
Nope, I insist.
So do I.
Well, we had better hurry if we're going to catch that curtain.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was looking for Natalie.
Why, Luke?
Well, I just want to see her.
How can we help you?
Well, I was just wondering if she mentioned to you where she was off to. I heard that she was talking with you.
No, I don't really have any idea.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, she said that she had a full evening of work ahead tonight.
Oh, that's right. She's not at the hospital, and I tried her at the apartment.
Well, I guess she'll send up somewhere.
We had really better get home.
Yeah, we don't want to be late to the theater.
No.
Then live next up. What need I fear of thee? Yes, I'll make a sure double sure, and take upon the state. Thou shalt not.
Commissioner, an urgent call for you.
Emergency?
That's what they said.
Which way to the phone?
Follow me, please. I'll show you.
Thank you, Basil. What's the plan?
A phone call.
Robert, there's been a shooting, but it's undercover. I'm calling from the communication room, but I think you better meet me at the hospital. Yeah, a patrol car and an ambulance.
You all right?
I know who the mole is. It's Natalie Dearborn.
Well, how did you...
I just shot her.
We have to leave.
This is so wonderful.
It's an emergency. Natalie Dearborn's been shot. We don't know how bad it is, but Connie said they've rushed us to General.
We've got to get over there.
I'll send you back to my home.
We can't. You'll have to come to the hospital with us.
Why? I don't understand.
I'll talk to you about it later. It's real busy. Let's get out of here.
Where is she? Come here.
What happened? Robert wouldn't say anything in the car.
All I know is Natalie was shot, that's all.
Jessie,
It's a side wound. Dr. Brown's with her now.
how serious?
Well, we have over 4 standing by.
She's been in and out of consciousness ever since it happened.
Your gun?
No, hers. I was trying to subdue her. One more second, I would have had the gun. Went up at point-blank range.
She was waiting for you.
Yeah, communications room. Looks like she's mole.
How did she get into my house?
That is a very good question. WSB men didn't even see her enter.
She must have got a copy of the plan somewhere. When can we talk to her?
I don't know. We're waiting to hear now. Wait a second. Here's Bobby.
Let's work on it.
The bullet missed all of the major organs. Right now, it's lodged in the tissue on her side. We're taking her into OR. Dr. Brown is going to administer a local, and he'll perform the surgery to remove it.
When can I talk to her?
I'm sorry, Robert. You're going to have to talk to Dr. Brown.
Doctor, Commissioner Scorpio, Port Charles Police Department. I'd like to talk to your patient.
As soon as she's in recovery.
This is very important.
Well, I'm sure it is, Commissioner, but at the moment the patient is barely conscious. You can talk to her in the recovery room. Come on, let's get her in here.
Listen, go with them. Stay outside the operating theater. I'll be there shortly.
Yes, sir.
Well, looks like she's going to be all right.
You should have told me it was Natalie. I was beeped at the theater.
I can't believe Natalie Dearborn was shot.
Surprising, yes.
Well, how is she?
I'm not sure.
Anyone know who shot her?
I did.
You? It's official business, Lee. This isn't the place to go into it, but suffice to say, it was an act of self-defense.
Well, whatever the story, I'm going to see how she's doing.
Oh, I'm coming too.
We'll be up shortly.
Well, I think I'm going to grab a cup of coffee and call Valentine.
You haven't called him yet?
No, I called him right after I spoke to you, but he wants me to keep him updated on what's going on. Glad to know it's not serious. Listen, you want to come and grab a cup of coffee with me? I'll buy.
I think I should wrap things up down here first.
Okay, I'll meet you up on 10.
I'll be about 5 minutes. The minute we get permission, I want to talk to her.
That makes 2 of us. After all, I didn't finish my last conversation with her.
Tell Valentine that everything is under control.
Right.
Don't tell me you're sending us home.
To the Quartermains. I'll pick you up there later.
Why don't I?
Because the police won't let you in.
The police?
That's where Natalie was shot.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Look, I'll fill you in later. Grant, I wonder if you'd mind seeing the women, huh? Grant?
I'm sorry, Robert. I was just thinking about Natalie. As you know, we work together.
Yes, I know. If you'd like to stay, but I just thought the women would prefer to be driven.
That's all right, Grant. No, you stay. I can get us home.
No, that's quite all right. There's really nothing I can do here, Celia.
I'll call the minute I have any news.
Fine. Let's go, ladies.
You go ahead. I'll be right there.
I promise I won't be late.
What were they doing in our house?
Haven't found that out yet.
It has something to do with the disc, doesn't it? Natalie's connected.
Well, that remains to be seen.
You sure you don't want company?
Positive. But I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't air any of your suspicions in front of Grant.
You mean what I said about Natalie?
I want to keep this quiet for as long as I can.
Oh, really?
When this all hits the fan, all hell is going to break loose.
You sure you won't tell me what's going on?
Sure. Thank you.
Told you I had a car pull up.
I thought you were at the theater.
Hi. Yes, we were called away. Someone I work with, a friend.
Natalie Dearborn was shot.
She was shot?
Yes, she was rushed to the hospital. They say it's not too serious, though.
Yes, when we left, they were taking her into OR to remove the bullet.
I hope you don't mind my waiting here. Robert says he'll come by and pick me up later.
No, by all means, stay, please.
Would you care for a drink? If you don't mind my saying so, you all look like you could use one.
Yes, I think that's a splendid idea.
How did it happen?
Well, apparently, she's broken, Father?
Well, she's going to be all right. They just moved her into recovery.
Can I talk to her?
She's still a little groggy, but I don't see why not.
Well, what do you know? Happy ending.
Nice for a change, isn't it?
We can go home, Nick.
Yeah, yes, Audrey. Robert, see Bobby in the recovery room. She'll take care of you.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, good night, everybody.
We'll talk in the morning.
Good night.
Good night.
Let's do it.
Wait a second.
What's wrong?
Luke and I are going to go in and talk to her first.
You two alone? Forget it. This is official business.
This is WSB business. That puts me in charge of the investigation.
Trying to pull rank on me. Look, there's no right in there, and you know it.
Robert, it's personal. I swear to you, I will not interfere with your investigation.
Robert, he might be very useful. She's going to take one look at us and clam up. He might strike an emotional chord in her and get her to talk to us.
5 minutes.
That's all I need.
Let's go.
Dr. Brown asked that you keep talk to a minimum.
Of course.
I'll get out of your way.
You used me. You used me from the start. Who are you? Who are you, really? Why? Why'd you do it? I'm just part of your plan. Just your ticket to Port Charles, Natalie. Why? Was it that important?
You don't understand, Luke.
No, I don't. I don't understand. I loved you, lady. I trusted you. And you've done nothing but make a fool out of me. Does it feel good, Natalie? Was it worth it?
Walking. Aren't you?
Don't start that with me.
It's true, Luke. I may have betrayed you politically. Remember one thing. Every step you take, every time you run, every time you dance or stand up or put on your shoes, will you please remember that I did that for you? I gave you back your legs.
You lied to me. That's what you did for me.
I saved your life. Will you please forget the other part? And remember that, Luke. Luke.
I can't. I can't.
Then don't.
All right. Shall we begin? You lied to Luke about your ex-husband, Natalie. He didn't die in Vietnam. He's alive. He lives in New York City. Luke and I went and talked with him.
DVX recruited you, didn't he?
Gerald didn't commit suicide, did he?
You're wasting your time.
Who killed him? Did you? Like you're going to kill me in cold blood?
You're going to prison for a long time, Natalie. What's the point of protecting them?
Them?
Your co-workers.
I don't know what you're talking about, Commissioner.
We're going to find them.
And you don't need me. Do you?
We're moving her to her room after we take some x-rays. You can talk to her there.
All right.
Look, I want you to stay with her. No one goes in or out of her room without my permission. Got that?
Right.
Any ideas?
We're not getting anywhere with this line.
No, she's too well trained. Maybe to try something else.
Better bring in Valentine.
Now, let's wait till tomorrow morning for that.
Can I get you a nice cup of coffee?
Yeah, definitely.
You must be getting awfully tired of these kind of evenings.
You might say that.
I don't envy your job one bit, Robert.
That's comforting, Alan.
Well, here she is, Robert, all in one piece.
Oh, you look tired.
You had a rough night?
Yes, how is she, Robert?
She's all right.
Did you find out anything?
Not much.
You don't know who shot her?
It was Connie, but we don't have much in the way of details at the moment.
Connie, why would you...
Self-defense, Edward. Look, Grant, we're going to have to question everybody connected or knew Natalie in any way. You'll make yourself available, I hope.
Of course.
And you, Celia.
Whatever you say.
Good.
Well, good night.
Well, drive carefully.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.